Enoch's vision. When I was 365 years old, on the first day of the year, I was alone in my house, grieving and crying. As I rested in bed, two magnificent beings appeared to me, greater than anyone I had ever seen on earth. Their faces shone like the sun, their eyes were like blazing lamps, and fire seemed to emanate from their mouths. They were dressed in feather-like garments, and their arms were like golden wings. Standing by my bedside, they called my name, Enoch, Enoch. I awoke from my sleep, and they told me, "Cheer up, Enoch, don't be afraid. The everlasting God has sent us to you, and today you will ascend with us to heaven." After I spoke with my sons, these beings summoned me. They lifted me on their wings and placed me on a cloud. The cloud moved, and as we went higher, I saw the air, and even higher, the ether. They carried me to the first heaven. The Book of Enoch, the movie. While Enoch was walking with the one Elohim, he was taken away. He was no longer found because Elohim had taken him up. In heaven, alongside the Anunnaki, Enoch was shown the secrets of life, death, and the fall of the angels. Part 1. The Watchers. As humanity flourished on earth, beautiful daughters were born. The angels, referred to as the children of heaven, were captivated by these women. They said to each other, "Let's choose wives from among the daughters of men and have children with them." Semjaza, their leader, expressed his concern. "I fear that if we go through with this, I alone will face the consequences." But the other angels, determined to follow through, insisted, "Let's make an oath and bind ourselves by mutual curses not to abandon this plan." So they all swore an oath and bound themselves to it. 200 angels descended during the time of Jared, landing on the summit of Mount Hermon. They named the mountain Mount Hermon because they had sworn and bound themselves there. Among these fallen angels were leaders like Samlazaz, Arakulba, Ramil, Kokablel, Tamlel, Ramlel, Danel, Ezekiel, Barakijal, Asael, Armaros, Batarel, Ananel, Zaklel, Samsapil, Satarel, Turel, Jomjael, and Sariel, each commanding a group of 10. The fallen angels took human wives, each selecting one for themselves, and began to corrupt their ways. They taught their wives about charms, enchantments, and the secrets of plants, such as cutting roots. As a result, the women became pregnant and gave birth to giants who were enormous, reaching heights of about 3,000 ells. These giants consumed all the resources of humanity, and when there was nothing left to sustain them, they turned on humans, devouring them instead. They didn't stop there. The giants and the fallen angels started to sin against animals of all kinds, including birds, beasts, reptiles, and fish. They even began eating each other's flesh and drinking blood. The earth, overwhelmed by such rampant lawlessness, began to accuse these transgressors. Azazel, one of the fallen angels, introduced humanity to the creation of weapons, swords, knives, shields, and breastplates. He revealed the secrets of metals and how to work them, teaching the crafting of bracelets, ornaments, and the use of antimony for beautifying eyes, as well as the use of precious stones and dyes. This led to an increase in godlessness and corruption, as these teachings led people astray into sin. Meanwhile, Semjaza taught enchantments and the cutting of roots, while Armaros taught how to undo enchantments. Barakijal shared knowledge of astrology. Kokabel explained the constellations. Ezekiel uncovered the secrets of the clouds. Arakiel revealed the signs of the earth. Shamsiel spoke of the sun's signs, and Sariel detailed the moon's course. As humanity perished, their desperate cries for relief reached the heavens. The archangels, Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel, looked down and saw the chaos and bloodshed ravaging the earth. Their hearts were heavy with sorrow and anger. They said to each other, "The earth, once a place of peace, now cries out with the voices of the afflicted, their pleas reaching the gates of heaven." The holy beings in heaven were moved by the anguished cries of humanity, who begged, "Bring our cause before the Most High." The archangels approached the Lord of ages and said, "Lord of lords, God of gods, King of kings and eternal ruler, your throne endures for all generations. Your name is holy and blessed beyond time. You created everything and hold power over all. Nothing escapes your sight. You see all things. You see what Azazel has done, teaching unrighteousness on earth and revealing eternal secrets meant only for heaven." Samlazaz, who was given authority to lead, has led his associates astray. They have defiled themselves with human women and spread all sorts of sins. The women have given birth to giants, and now the earth is filled with blood and wickedness. The souls of the dead cry out at the gates of heaven, their lamentations rising ceaselessly due to the lawlessness on earth. You, who know all things before they happen, have seen these events unfold and allowed them. Yet you have not told us what to do about them. Then the Most High, the Holy and Great One, spoke. He sent Uriel to Noah, saying, "Go to Noah and tell him in my name, hide yourself. Inform him that the end is approaching, that the whole earth will be destroyed by a flood. Instruct him so that he and his family may be saved and preserved for future generations." The Lord's commands to the archangels. The Lord instructed Raphael, "Bind Azazel hand and foot, and cast him into the darkness. Open up a chasm in the desert of Dudael, and throw him in there. Cover him with rough, jagged rocks and wrap him in darkness, so he will remain there forever. Block his face, so he cannot see any light. On the day of judgment, he will be cast into the fire. Heal the earth that has been corrupted by the watchers. Announce the healing so that humanity won't be lost because of the hidden knowledge the watchers have shared with their offspring. The earth has been tainted by Azazel's teachings, and all the sin should be attributed to him." To Gabriel the Lord said, "Go against the illegitimate children and those born of sin. Destroy the offspring of the watchers among men. Set them to fight each other in battle, so they will destroy one another. They won't live long lives, and none of their pleas will be heard by their fathers. They hope to live forever, and each of them hope to live for 500 years. The Lord then spoke to Michael, "Bind Samlazaz and his followers, who have corrupted themselves with women. After their children have fought and perished, bind these leaders for 70 generations in the valleys of the earth until the day of their judgment. They will be cast into the fiery abyss, suffering and imprisoned forever. Those who are condemned will be bound with them for all generations. Erase all the evil spirits and the children of the watchers who have wronged humanity. Eliminate all wickedness from the earth and bring an end to all evil deeds. Let righteousness and truth emerge as a blessing. The works of righteousness will be planted in joy forever. The righteous will thrive and have many children living peaceful, joyful lives. The earth will be nurtured in righteousness and filled with blessings. All the trees will be desirable, vines will yield plentiful wine, and the seed sown will bear 1,000-fold. Each measure of olives will produce 10 presses of oil. Cleanse the earth of all oppression, unrighteousness, sin, and godlessness. Remove all uncleanness from the earth. All humanity will become righteous, and all nations will offer praise and worship. The earth will be purged of defilement, sin, punishment, and torment. I will never again bring such afflictions upon it. In those days I will open the storehouses of blessings in heaven and pour them out upon the earth. Truth and peace will flourish throughout the world and all generations." Before all this, Enoch was hidden away, and no one knew where he was or what had happened to him. Enoch, who had been involved with the watchers and spent time with the holy ones, was blessed by the Lord of Majesty and the King of the ages. The watchers called out to Enoch, "Scribe of righteousness," they said. "Go tell the watchers of heaven, who left their holy place and defiled themselves with women. Tell them, you have brought great destruction to the earth and will find neither peace nor forgiveness. As you delight in your children, you will witness their destruction. You will mourn their deaths and plead for eternity, but you will not find mercy or peace. Enoch approached Azazel and declared, Azazel, you will find no peace. A severe judgment has been decreed against you. You will be bound and receive no pardon or appeal for the wrongs you've taught and the godless deeds you've committed against humanity. Enoch then addressed all the watchers who were gripped with fear and trembling. They pleaded with him to make a petition for their forgiveness and to present it to the Lord of heaven. Overcome with shame and unable to face or even look up to heaven, they were desperate for mercy. Enoch composed their petition and prayer, seeking forgiveness and a reprieve. He journeyed to the waters of Dan, in the land of Dan to the south and west of Mount Hermon. There he read their petition until he fell asleep. In his dream, visions of punishment appeared to him, and a voice commanded him to deliver these visions to the sons of heaven and reprimand them. When Enoch awoke, he found the watchers gathered in grief at Abel-Zeel, between Lebanon and Senazar, their faces covered in sorrow. He recounted the visions he had seen and began to deliver a message of righteousness, rebuking the heavenly watchers. The book of the words of righteousness, which recorded this reprimand, was given to Enoch by the command of the Holy Great One, through a vision he had in his sleep. Enoch spoke with the authority and wisdom bestowed upon him, addressing the watchers as he had been instructed. He began, I have written your petition, but in my vision it was revealed that your plea will never be granted. Judgment has been pronounced, and your request will be denied for all eternity. You will never ascend to heaven again. Bound to the earth, you are sentenced to remain in chains forever. You will witness the downfall of your beloved sons, and you will find no joy in their fate. They will fall before you, struck down by the sword. Your pleas for them and your own will not be answered, no matter how much you weep and pray. In my vision I was summoned by clouds and mist. The stars and lightning urged me forward, and the winds lifted me up into heaven. I approached a crystalline wall surrounded by fire, which terrified me. I entered this fiery realm and came upon a grand house made of crystal, with floors, walls, and foundations, all of crystal. Its ceiling was like the starry sky, with fiery cherubim around it. Flames surrounded the walls, and its portals blazed with fire. As I entered, the house was a stark contrast, both fiery hot and icy cold. There was no joy inside. Only fear and trembling overwhelmed me. I fell to my face, and then I saw a vision of an even greater house. It was built of flames and fire, with a magnificent portal before me. This house outshone the first in splendor and grandeur. Its floor was fire, its ceiling flaming fire, and the walls were ablaze with lightning. There was a lofty throne, crystal clear and shining like the sun, with wheels of fire beneath it. Streams of intense flame flowed from beneath the throne, so brilliant that I could not look upon it. The great glory sat upon the throne, his appearance brighter than the sun and whiter than snow. The angels could not enter to behold his face due to his overwhelming magnificence. No flesh could endure his presence, a vision of divine judgment. A blazing fire surrounded him, and a great inferno stood before him. Countless beings, 10,000 times 10,000, stood around, but he needed no advisers. The most holy ones who were closest to him stayed day and night without ever leaving. As I lay there, trembling in awe, the Lord called me with his own voice, saying, "Come here, Enoch, and listen to my words." One of the holy ones approached me, awakening me, and guided me to the door. I bowed my face to the ground as I heard the Lord's voice say, "Do not be afraid, Enoch, righteous man and scribe of righteousness. Come closer and listen to my words. Go and speak to the watchers of heaven who have asked you to intercede for them. You should be the ones interceding for humanity, not the other way around. Why have you left the high, holy, and eternal heaven mingled with women, defiled yourselves with the daughters of men, taken wives and fathered giants. Although you were once holy, spiritual beings living eternal lives, you have corrupted yourselves with human blood and created giants. As beings of the eternal realm, you were meant to remain spiritual and immortal. That's why I have not given you wives. Your dwelling is meant to be in heaven. Now the giants born of these unions will become evil spirits on earth. These spirits will cause trouble, oppressing, attacking, and destroying. They won't eat, yet they will be hungry and thirsty, bringing suffering to humanity. These spirits will rise up against both men and women, as they are their offspring. From the time of the giants' death and destruction, their spirits will cause havoc without facing judgment until the final day, the great judgment when everything will be concluded, and the watchers and the godless will face their reckoning. Tell the watchers who sent you that, although they were once in heaven, they didn't know all the mysteries. They revealed harmful secrets to women, causing much evil on earth. Therefore they will have no peace. At the edge of the earth, Enoch gazed up at the sky and saw a spectacular sight. He arrived at a place that burned day and night, where 7 majestic mountains stood. 3 of these mountains were to the east, and 3 were to the south. The eastern mountains were made of stunning materials. One was coloured stone, one was pearl, and one was jacinth. The southern mountains were red. In the centre was a towering mountain that reached up to the heavens. It looked like God's throne, crafted from alabaster with a sapphire peak. Beyond these mountains, Enoch saw a blazing fire and a region marking the end of the world, where the heavens seemed complete. He also saw a deep abyss, filled with columns of heavenly fire that stretched endlessly up and down. Beyond this abyss was a desolate wasteland with no sky above or solid ground below. It was a grim and empty place, void of water and birds. There, Enoch saw 7 stars burning like massive mountains. When he asked about them, the angel told him, "This is the end of heaven and earth, a prison for the stars and heavenly beings." These stars defied God's commands at the start, failing to appear at their appointed times. In his wrath, God bound them here for 10,000 years as punishment. Uriel, another angel, added, "This is where the fallen angels who corrupted mankind by mingling with women will be confined. They led people astray into worshipping demons as gods. They will remain here until the great judgment day, where they will be judged and punished. The women who went astray with them will become sirens." Enoch, alone in this vision, saw things no other human had witnessed. He continued his journey with the holy angels, who revealed the secrets of the universe to him. He met the celestial guardians who oversee humanity. Uriel presides over the world and Tartarus. Raphael oversees the spirits of men. Raguel enforces vengeance on the luminaries. Michael protects humanity and manages chaos. Sarachael oversees the spirits who sin spiritually. Gabriel guards paradise, the serpents, and the cherubim. Rimmel watches over those who rise. Enoch was then taken to a realm of utter chaos, devoid of a sky or solid ground. It was a place of disorder and terror, where he saw 7 stars bound together, burning like great mountains. He asked Uriel, "Why are these stars bound here, and for what sin?" Uriel replied, "These are the stars that disobeyed God's command. They are imprisoned here until their 10,000-year punishment is complete." Enoch was led to an even more terrifying place, a massive fire blazing from the abyss, with great columns of fire descending endlessly. The scale of the fire was beyond comprehension. Enoch exclaimed, "This place is so frightening and terrible." Uriel reassured him, "This is the prison for the fallen angels, where they will be confined forever." Enoch then saw a mountain of hard rock with 4 deep, smooth hollows. Raphael explained, These hollows are for gathering the souls of the dead until the day of judgment. All human souls come here to wait for their final reckoning. Enoch saw a spirit pleading to heaven, and he asked Raphael, "Whose spirit is this?" Raphael answered, "This is the spirit of Abel, who was killed by his brother Cain. Abel's spirit cries out for justice until Cain's line is wiped from the earth." Enoch was curious about the divisions he saw in the hollow places of the earth, so Raphael explained, "These areas are for the spirits of the dead. There's one for the righteous, which has a bright spring of water. Another is for those who lived as sinners without judgment during their lifetimes, where their spirits suffer greatly until the day of reckoning. There's also a place for those who make their plea, revealing their destruction when they were slain. Lastly, there's a spot for those who were neither righteous nor truly evil. Their spirits won't face judgment or be resurrected." Enoch praised the Lord, saying, "Blessed be my Lord, the Lord of righteousness, who reigns forever." He then travelled to the west, where he saw a fire burning endlessly, day and night. He asked, "What is this never-ending fire?" Raguel, one of the holy angels, told him, "This is the fire in the west that burns against all the heavenly bodies." As Enoch continued his journey, he came upon a mountain range engulfed in fire, burning around the clock. Beyond this range, he saw 7 majestic mountains, each with its own beauty and glorious stones. The 7th mountain, the highest of them all, resembled a throne and was surrounded by fragrant trees. Among these trees was a unique one, with an unparalleled fragrance, its leaves, blooms and wood never withering, and its fruit resembling palm dates. Enoch was in awe, exclaiming, "How beautiful is this tree, with its fragrance and appearance!" Michael, an esteemed angel, responded, "This high mountain, which looks like God's throne, is where the Holy Great One, the Lord of glory, will sit when he visits the earth in goodness. As for this fragrant tree, no mortal is allowed to touch it until the final judgment, when it will be given to the righteous. Its fruit will nourish the elect, and the tree will be moved to the holy temple of the Lord, the eternal King." Michael continued, "Those who are righteous will rejoice and enter this holy place, their bones filled with its fragrance. They will live long, free from sorrow, disease, and disaster." Enoch praised the God of glory, the eternal King, who had prepared such blessings for the righteous. He then travelled to the centre of the earth, finding a blessed land with blooming trees and a holy mountain with a stream flowing south. A higher mountain stood to the east, separated by a deep ravine. Uriel explained, "This cursed valley is for those condemned forever. It is where all who speak ill of the Lord and his glory will be gathered for judgment. The righteous will bless the Lord for the mercy he has shown them." Enoch continued to praise the Lord of glory and ventured east to a wilderness filled with aromatic trees like frankincense and myrrh. Further, he found a valley with fragrant trees and a stream flowing with scents of mastic and cinnamon. He discovered more mountains with groves of trees producing sweet-smelling nectar. East of the earth's end, Enoch saw aloe trees with an extraordinary fragrance. To the north, he encountered 7 mountains covered with precious spices like nard, cinnamon, and pepper. After crossing these summits, Enoch reached the Garden of Righteousness, home to many beautiful trees, including the Tree of Knowledge. Raphael explained, "This is the Tree of Wisdom, from which your ancestors gained insight. They realized their nakedness and were driven from the garden." Enoch then travelled to the earth's edge, where he saw various great beasts and birds. He also observed the portals of heaven, noting their number, positions, and the times they governed, as shown by Uriel. Enoch journeyed further north and came across an awe-inspiring sight at the edge of the world, a grand device with 3 open portals of heaven. Through these portals, the north winds brought with them cold, hail, frost, snow, dew, and rain. He saw similar portals in the west and south, each serving its own purpose. Upon returning east, Enoch discovered 3 more portals through which the stars made their journey across the sky. He was overwhelmed by the beauty and grandeur of these revelations and praised the Lord of glory for the incredible wonders he had witnessed. Enoch spoke with great reverence to the righteous and chosen ones, those who would endure the tribulations to come. He shared a vision revealed to him by angels. I saw the Holy One in heaven, and from the angels I learned everything meant for a future generation, not for this one. Enoch's blessings were meant for those who would live through the times when the wicked and godless are removed. As a man of profound righteousness, Enoch received divine insights from God. He continued his message to the elect. The Holy Great One will emerge from his dwelling. The eternal God will walk upon the earth, even upon Mount Sinai, showing his mighty strength from the highest heaven. Everyone will tremble with fear, and the watchers will quake. Mountains will be shaken, and high hills will be made low, melting like wax before the fire. The earth itself will be torn apart, and everything upon it will perish. Judgment will be passed on all, but peace will be made with the righteous. God will protect the elect, showing them mercy and blessing them. They will belong to God, prosper, and live in his light. He will come with thousands of holy ones to judge all, destroy the ungodly, and convict every soul of their wicked deeds and harsh words spoken against him. Enoch spoke with authority, urging his listeners to marvel at the heavens and earth and recognize the unchanging order set by God. Look at the heavens, he said, and see how the celestial bodies follow their paths without deviation. The stars rise and set in their appointed times, never straying from their courses. Observe the steadfastness of the earth, how it remains unchanged from beginning to end, showing the works of God. Notice how the earth is nourished with water, with clouds, dew, and rain sustaining it through all seasons. In winter, notice how trees seem to wither and drop their leaves, except for a few special trees that keep their foliage for 2 to 3 years. Then, come summer, observe how the sun blazes high in the sky, making you seek shade and making the earth and rocks warm up. Trees respond by bursting into green leaves and bearing fruit. All these cycles and changes reflect the constant work of the Creator, who has designed everything to follow his will year after year. Look at how the seas and rivers follow their courses without deviation, obeying his commands. Yet, despite this divine order, you have not been faithful or followed the Lord's commandments. Instead, you have turned away, using harsh and prideful words against his greatness, speaking impurely. Those of you who are stubborn-hearted will find no peace. As a result, you will face curses and your days will be filled with despair. The years of your destruction will stretch into eternal shame, and mercy will be far from you. Your names will become a curse among the righteous, and people will use your name to express curses. The wicked will invoke your name in their curses, and the godless will find it a symbol of their own curse. But for the righteous, there will be joy and forgiveness of sins. They will receive mercy, peace, and salvation, shining with a good light. Sinners, however, will not find salvation and will bear the curse of the beast. For the chosen ones, there will be light, joy, and peace. They will inherit the earth and be blessed with wisdom. They will live without sin, free from ungodliness or pride. The wise among them will be humble, avoiding sin and transgression throughout their lives. They will live out their days in peace, with their lives and joy increasing in eternal gladness and tranquility.